All right, private video for Patreon members only and YouTube membership page too as well. We're looking at the 15-minute time frame to start off with. We're going to go ahead and jump through the charts really quick for the evening, see what we might be expecting for the week to come. Going on into the rest of July. Bitcoin's still moving pretty much sideways as of right now. Looks like we've had a nice little push back to the top side at about the 9,300 area. So this is kind of what we were expecting. In previous video, I said give yourself some room. 93 to 9,400 could be a nice little range for us to move back up to. And it looks like we have kind of pushed back up into that area real quick. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking for more of the big term swing trades. As far as scalping and day trading, I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. But I've been working on a lot of other content for y'all as well too. So definitely stay tuned for that as well, moving forward from here on out. And I definitely think that we'll get that big move soon enough. It's just probably going to take a little bit longer than we expect it to play out for us as well too. So going on into our 30-minute time frame, we're going to take a look here and see what's happening. We've kind of broken bullish up above a couple of trend lines here as well too. You can see that we've had these breaks. We pushed up, and then it looks like we're pushing through this one here. We've had another push up too as well. So these are just some things that we need to take note of. We can see that our blue wave on our 30 minutes kind of moving to the downside. It looks like our VWAP's kind of clipping back up as of right now. Our Cipher SR is giving us a little bit of a bullish indication, looking like we are holding support above our VWAP as of right now on the 30-minute time frame. Let's go ahead and go on into our 45-minute and see what's happening here. 45-minute, I did add another EMA here. I added our 50 EMA, and as we start to get into some of our higher time frames, that'll be more of a decision point for us if we hold support above it or not. So looking at our 45-minute time frame here, we can still kind of see that our blue wave's kind of clipping down just a tad bit as well too. Money flow kind of thinning out on the greenish money flow as of right now. But one thing that I want y'all to take note of is that our 15-minute time frame is a great scalping chart if y'all are using Market Cipher. You can use this money flow moving up into the green and then down into the red. So as you can see here, we moved down into the red. You can see that we were kind of moving into the red, and then we had this big drop off. And then as we were in the red, we had another big sell off, and that would have been a nice place to take profit. And then we could moving back up into that greenish territory. We just kind of trended sideways here, but then we had another push back up into that green area here. That would have been a nice long position. And then now you could probably look for a short, being that the money flow does look like it wants to kind of round off here just a tad bit. But let's go back to our 45-minute, take a look here and see that our blue momentum wave is also moving to the downside as of right now. VWAP is kind of clipping to the upside or just kind of moving sideways too though. So that's something to take note of. We do have a bearish one here, count to the bottom side. So just something to take note of there. We didn't have a perfect 9 to say the least, but it does look like we are kind of holding support above that EMA there on the 45-minute, and also the 1 hour holding support above our 13 EMA here too as well. Blue wave's kind of topping out, it looks like, getting above that 60% level. VWAP still moving to the downside. Money flow is also kind of moving to the downside here as well. Going into our 90-minute time frame, still holding support above our 13 EMA. As you can see, we do have a red dot here on the 90-minute time frame, currently finding some resistance above some of our trend line support and resistance areas. And I do have a trend line drawn out right now as we start to zoom out, but you can kind of see here where I'm looking at. And this seems to be a major resistance for us moving forward, this top trend line that takes us all the way back up to some key areas of resistance. And as we start to zoom out, we can kind of take a clearer look at what those resistance points were for that trend line. We do have another bearish trend line down here, a support trend line down here at about the 9,200 area, to say the least. So a pushback down to 9,200 could be in the realms going on into this week for sure. But let's zoom out even higher on these time frames to see what might be happening here. So we can, money flow still looking kind of indecisive as of right now. We did have a nice red money flow, and then now we've just been kind of trending sideways with the money flow patterns here as well. But you know, we had this pushback up all the way over here, and this is kind of where that trend line structure is all the way drawn out to. And as we start to zoom out, we'll get a clear definition of when this trend line or when this symmetrical triangle might break in either direction or the other. An aggressive 13 to the downside here on the 2-hour time frame as well. Going on into our 4-hour time frame, let's take a look and see what's happening here. 4-hour time frame, EMAs are looking like they're squeezing quite a bit here. Kind of giving us an unsure direction as of yet, but our blue EMA is our 50 EMA, so we definitely can keep an eye on that if you'd like to. I'm using the Aldo EMAs, so I show y'all how to set that up inside of the Patreon page. If you actually just search for Aldo EMAs, you should be able to find that there, and I have the 50 EMA turned on here, as you can see, to correlate with the charts. So I'm keeping an eye on the 50 EMA, especially once we get into our higher time frames as well too. But a few BART patterns here. I mean, this is kind of acceptable whenever Bitcoin is just very undecisive about what it wants to do. So the BART patterns are kind of getting smaller, to say the least, but you know, we're going to have to kind of range sideways a little bit longer just so Bitcoin can kind of make up its mind as of right now. And then our 8-hour getting a money flow that's kind of still pushing up to the top side here as well too. But this is you can see that this trend line resistance area has been major resistance for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches so far on this trend line. And then we have our bottom one that's also been kind of touching too a couple of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've had 5 touches on each side of these trend lines, and I think that we're just probably going to get a major break relatively soon, coming to the end of the symmetrical triangle. You can see a lot of these green line resistance points up here too as well. And Bitcoin has not really broken out above a lot of these resistance lines up here. So the 6-hour might be a good time frame to keep an eye on if you're using the trend lines indicator as well. That might be a good time frame to kind of see where some of these resistance lines might be at, and if we're going to actually be able to push through them or not. So I would say 93.80 and then all the way up to 94.33. So right around that 9400 area is going to be some major resistance. We have quite a few trend lines up here that we need to break through. So we could see another push back to the downside. Money flow is looking pretty healthy here on our 6-hour, like it wants to continue to move back up into that green. We could put in an anchor wave up here. No sign of a red dot just yet. VWAP is kind of clipping off to the side though as of right now. Going on into our 8-hour time frame. 8-hour, one thing that we kind of overlook sometimes when I'm looking at the charts is the RSI in the background here, but we have stochastic and our regular RSI. They're both pretty heavily to the upside right now, so we could continue to push up a little bit higher, consolidate, and then maybe see another sell-off after that. So we want to see these RSIs kind of ride up to this top side, and then you'll start to see a sell-off. So it does look like we are in buying territory whenever these RSIs are turned green. That usually means that it's a good time to start buying, and then when they're turned red, it means that it's probably a good time to start selling. So and you can keep an eye on that if you are using Market Cipher as well too. Let's see though. We can also see that money flow is looking kind of thin on our 8-hour, and look, you know, we still can see some trend line resistance areas up above us that match with that yellow trend line as well too. So that's going to be pretty strong resistance for us to move through, about that 9400 area moving forward from here on out. But just some crazy Darth Maul wicks happening right now. One candle after another, just completely, you know, hitting stop losses and everything going if you're trading right now. So, but right now I'm kind of I'm in theta a little bit. And I'm just getting exposed to theta to see if we continue to pump maybe back up above 30 cents or so. And if we do pop up above 30 cents and we continue, if the conclusion holds true with BTC wanting to have a little bit of retracement, maybe back down into that 7K area or lower 8Ks, then I might have to consider selling the position that I'm in theta, because more than likely, if Bitcoin decides to drop, these altcoins will probably drop with it as well too. So I will keep y'all posted on what my decision point is on that. I'm just getting a little exposure into theta right now, and just seeing if I can, make a nice little profit or a nice little scalp opportunity to the top, and then sell whenever I feel that it might start retracing a little bit. So going into our 12-hour now, our 12-hour is also kind of looking kind of bleak on our money flow as of right now, just kind of moving sideways. No clear direction on it just yet. But that's been given this whole topping out pattern, or what I would say is probably a topping out pattern, and we're kind of just consolidating, moving in the symmetrical triangle as of right now to see whether or not we're going to pump or dump from here on out. So I'm keeping a close eye on the symmetrical triangle. You can also draw this out on your chart if you'd like, and just know that this wedge pattern is going to probably give us a relatively big break sometime soon, probably within the next couple of days or so. But we could definitely see some retracement, maybe back down to the 9200 area, and then we could consolidate out until the end of the symmetrical triangle. That is a firm possibility. So going into our 21-hour, let's see what's happening here. 21-hour, I mean, we're still looking relatively good with our blue momentum wave to the upside here. It does look like a nice little rounded curvature to the top side. So consider that for what it is, and to know that we could still probably, we may have a fake out above this trend line, if anything, and then, dump back the other way. So that's just something that usually if we have a breakout past one of these trend lines, we want to look for about a 3% pump. 3 to 5% pump to the upside to know that we've clearly broken out of it, and a 3% pump to the upside here would probably be around 9600 area or so. So that would break through a lot of those resistance trend lines that we had seen on the 6-hour as well. And so I'm thinking if we do break up above this, it's probably going to be a clean break all the way up to 9600. But if we don't, if we see something of like a fake out, then maybe it only hits 9400, 9500. I would wait and see if we hit 9600, and then maybe it's going to be a little bit more bullish for us, and possibly come back up and retest those higher 9K and maybe even 10K areas from here on out, to maybe end up filling this symmetrical triangle up here, which has been one of our major resistance lines for us, moving all the way back up from that 14K top out, right? So let's go back into our daily time frame here, see what's happening. Daily time frame also giving us a nice little, this is a blue triangle to the upside here, indicating somewhat of a trend direction change. But I feel that Bitcoin's just very undecisive right now. Looking at our one-day chart, we can see that our money flow is still kind of moving off to the side. I would imagine that we'll probably end up seeing that Christmas tree pattern with our money flow here on our one day until Bitcoin decides to clear direction. We are getting a green dot pushing us back to the upside. This looks like a clean, nice little momentum wave to the upside here too as well. So that's just something to keep a close eye on from here on out. Going on into our two-day RSI, something to note here is that our RSI is looking relatively overbought as of right now, right above that 60% level. And, it does look like the market is telling us to kind of sell right now too, being that we are seeing that red 2-day pattern up here with our RSI. So our RSI is flashing us, it's telling us that it might be a good time to sell. So that's just something we need to take note of from here on out. I'm feeling that we are going to probably trend sideways for a little bit longer until Bitcoin decides to make up its freaking mind and give us a sell-off or not. Depending if people are hurting or not right now in the economy. I know there was probably a lot of institutional money pumped into this market whenever everyone got their stimulus checks and all the money printing was going on. I'm sure there was a lot of money printed into this market for people to make money into. But if people actually need that money, then they're going to have to sell off a little bit later. So we'll have to wait to see how this wants to play out for us. But in the given time, we are kind of just in a waiting period as of right now. 13 aggressive to the downside here too as well. We are seeing a little bit of trendline resistance up above head, but if we start to break down below this trend line here at about the 9K area, then we could probably see a pretty big break to the downside there too as well. So My guess right now is kind of just more sideways action through the rest of the week, and then more than likely by the end of the week we'll get a clear direction. This is our 3-day chart. So one thing I want to note here on our 3-day is that our VWAP's just pretty much moving sideways. Not a very clear directional uptrend on our 3-day with our green dot here. It's still just kind of looking like it wants to move sideways. I would like to see that light blue wave, or that light blue line, move back above the 60% or the 0% level, and then also have that blue wave move back up above with it. But if it doesn't want to move back up above that zero pivot point, then I would probably indicate maybe another red dot that could occurring relatively soon. So we're just going to have to wait to see how this wants to play out. Money flow is also kind of moving into that downside. We could see back here, we did have this green dot back here, but our money flow is definitely moving up into that greenish territory. Now we're kind of just floating off on the money flow. It could make another stair step leg down, but we're going to have to wait to see exactly how this wants to play out. It does look like it wants to move back into that reddish money flow on our 3-day, but that is yet to be determined. I'm still thinking sideways for right now, and once Bitcoin decides to make up its mind, then we'll see a clear direction in one direction or the other. I'm leaning more bearishness, but by all means, do your own due diligence. Take my charts for what they are, and just know that I always encourage you to do your own research, your own due diligence. We never got the buy signal. And lo and behold, it looks like our buy signal is flashing right now on our 1-day. So quite interesting. This is interesting. Now I'm maybe so very, very interesting. I'm thinking that if this confirms, which we'll know by the end of the day whether or not this buy signal is going to confirm. I have a feeling it might confirm. I think Carl from the Moon just put out a video too as well, talking about the buy signal as for the most part. But let's say this confirms on our 1-day hash ribbon buy signal. You'll get the signal inside of Discord. I already have that set up for the for the hash ribbons buy signal to signal for us in the Discord server. So you can always check to see if it confirms or not following this video and going on into tomorrow. And honestly, this could give us a push back up to that 9,700 area. We could have a clean breakup above here all the way up to 9,600, 9,700. That's going to be something that we need to keep an eye on if this confirms. This buy signal took very, very long to confirm. It never confirmed for us. And finally, it looks like it's confirming for us now. So it's gonna be interesting, because I still feel that we're probably gonna range between the 9K and maybe that 10K area for right now. I don't have clear bullish signs just yet, especially on some of these higher time frames with our buy and sell signals, and even our let's see. I wanted to take a look at the 2-day. 2-day is also flashing buy as of right now. I'm still kind of waiting. So I did go ahead and get into Theta. I told y'all that I'm in Theta right now, and I have some exposure in Bitcoin right now too as well. So I have some exposure in Bitcoin and Theta as of right now. If there's a clear direction after a sell-off, after maybe we come back up and retest 9,700, 9,600, let's say we have that clean break above those trend lines on the 6-hour, all the way up to that 96, 9,700 area, well, then I might have to say, okay, that might be a good selling point for me if we come back up and retest 96, 9,700, and then that's going to be a pretty strong selling point for me too as well. So, I'm not going to leverage trade this for right now, just to be safe. I would say you could probably go ahead and put in a small long position based on the hash ribbons buy signal. And then once you're in a little bit of profit, make sure you take it. That's the only thing I'm guessing on right now. This is just based on the hash ribbons and the speculation of hash ribbons right now too as well, because we're getting a lot of other bearish signs, but we know that hash ribbons has been very, very accurate for us. Whenever that hash ribbons buy signal goes off, we know that it's been pretty accurate for us for the most part. But a lot of times these higher time frames are still telling us that there's still some sell pressure here for right now. And, the fact that we haven't really seen our major retracement like a lot of people have been expecting still leaves me a little hesitant right now to just say that we're going to come back up and retest, 14K, anytime soon. So it does look like on our 5-day, we want to get another green dot here relatively soon. So we'll have to kind of just wait and see. Like I said, I have some exposure into the markets right now, but if we come back up and retest the 9,700 area, then 96, 9,700, then I may consider, if we don't push through that, with a lot of volume, then I'm going to have to consider that probably, that sell-off is still going to come relatively soon. We can still see here that even on our weekly time frames, these sell signals do not play around, and this is on the 6-day too. These sell signals do not play around at all. So we could be experiencing something like this, where we have the sell, we have the pump, and then we sell off again and continue to trend sideways before the big sell-off. So that could be something relevant here, where we have another pump all the way back up to the retest this trend line. And then that rejection point, where we've clearly gotten rejected so many times at about the 10.5K area, and this trend line all the way back up from 20K is a big no, rejection no from Bitcoin too as well. So we could get that pump back up to retest the 10K area, and then we continue to sell off there. Just something maybe that we've had right back here with a lot of volume being pushed into the market, and then the sell off. I mean, this money flow is nothing like what we're getting now. The money flow is just very thin right now, and we could get a nice little pump back to the upside before a capitulation further down, right? So something to just take note of there. But the fact that we are getting the buy signal on the hash ribbons leaves me a little speculative to the bullish sentiment for right now. And we'll have to see exactly how much further we're going to want to push up. I would say 96, 9,700, and then we'll have to reevaluate from there. If you want to go ahead and enter a little long position based on those hash ribbon buy signals, then go for it. I would say that you're probably pretty safe with it right now. Obviously, don't use proper risk management. This is not financial advice, as y'all all know. Make sure you do your own due diligence and research based on your charts. My charts are basically just a something that you can use against your charts as well too, and then take your own decision from there. I mean, we can also see here on our weekly chart that we're getting that sell signal again, and most of the time this sell signal has been a nice little indicator for us that we are making moves to the downside. Money flow also still moving to the downside here too as well. So we just need to be wary of what's going to happen here in the near term future moving forward. So a lot of these sell signals have been nice little indicators for us. We can come back all the way over here to test and to see that the sell signals have definitely done their job, except when we were extremely bullish pushing back up to 20K. I don't think that we're that bullish right now to push us back up to that 20K area, or to represent that last 20K area as well too. But this was in an extreme bull market. But right now we've still been making lower highs on the macro trend, and so that's just something to take note of from here on out. We have not put in higher highs on the macro trend, versus like back here where we have been extremely bullish. But let's just say that this is the start of the next bullish bull run that's gonna take us to all-time highs in 2021. I mean, it could be the start. I would anticipate probably another sell-off, but that's just me. And I would encourage you to do your own due diligence on this as well too. I did want to look at the 10-day. Maybe the last sell signal that we had maybe was on our 9-day. The last sell signal we had here was on our 9-day time frame. So we did have a nice little sell signal here. The money flow is still looking relatively nice there on the 9-day too as well. But these sell signals have been pretty accurate for us for the most part. They don't go back very far. Let's go back into our 8-day and see what's happening here. So 8-day time frame. I mean, we had some clear sell signals there, especially one here. There may not just be enough data to give us buy and sell signals in that direction, but even the 8-day has given us a sell signal as well. So I'm thinking, well, we could get a nice little fake out pump up to maybe 10K, 9,700, 9,600, and then we continue to sell off from there. So just be aware. Take this for what it is, and make sure you do your own due diligence. Nothing in technical analysis is perfect 24/7. There's always probability factors to this, but it does look like Bitcoin wants to try to make a move back to the upside, and then maybe continue to sell off based on our hash ribbons buy signal that could be confirming, maybe even by the end of this video being put out. Let's see how much longer we have until our daily confirms. We have about 6 hours until the daily confirms, or until our next candle opens on our daily. So just be aware of that. Take it for what it is. And yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed this content, this private video for the Patreon members only. It's been kind of a busy weekend for me, so I'm sorry that I haven't been here keeping up to date and making private videos, but I'll try and be a little bit more consistent with that. And then also, we are getting ready to release the course, so I'm working pretty heavily on that too. Here's what I'm thinking, especially for my Patreon members that have given me great feedback in the Patreon comments. I appreciate all the feedback and all the suggestions on this course and to make it possible. But I'm thinking what I want to do is make a beginner course to crypto to start us off with. And I will also give y'all a discount to that. Most of y'all are probably already familiar with it. If you're trading crypto, you're probably really familiar with the space, and you may not need the beginning course. The beginning course is just basically how to get started, things to look out for, how not to get scammed, how not to get your give up your private keys, your passphrase, this and that. And it's basic knowledge on how to store your crypto, how to get involved with the exchanges, should you KYC, or are there other ways around that as well too. So there may be some tips and tricks in there that y'all don't know about, and that might be a reason for you to pick it up. But I'm thinking that I'll make another course specifically based on trading, what some of these indicators mean, websites to go through if you want to leverage trade, how to ladder orders, how to navigate the exchange. If y'all are having questions about how to use Bybit and stuff too, I've seen some questions about that. But I'm thinking I'll dedicate another course specifically just to trading, and I'll make sure that I give a discount for the Patreon members as well too. But I'm thinking that's going to be the easiest way to kind of break this up for just people that are being beginners in crypto versus that want to know how to trade a little bit better, right? So I'm thinking about splitting that up, and that'll probably be what ends up happening. So it's going to be probably a little while until I bring out that trading course. And give y'all a little bit more information about that in the near term future. But I'll probably just give a beginner course to crypto first that is available to the public, and I'll make sure to let the members know about that when it is released. But been working a lot on that too, trying to get everything in line from here on out. And I hope that y'all are staying well and using proper risk management and doing your own due diligence and research in this crypto space and in these markets. So with that being said, we're getting the buy on the hash ribbons. That does indicate a little bit of bullishness. The hash ribbons haven't let us down in the past, really. So, but also at the same time, we're seeing a lot of bearish signs on our other indicators right now as well too. So we just need to take in reference of the probability factor and how the scales equal each other out. So indicating I'm thinking a push back up to the 9,700 area, and then after that we could possibly see another sell-off based on some of our sell signals that we're getting and some of our money flow patterns that are also signaling for us as well too. So with that being said, y'all do your own due diligence, do your own research. My charts are just for your reference only. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one. CTO signing out. Peace.